How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. So the markets were pretty boring today. We had the S&P down 0.1%, Dow down 0.2%, the NASDAQ 100 broke even, and the Russell 2000 went up 0.3%. So today we're going to break down some charts, my thoughts on the market, stocks I'm looking at right now. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee, go down below, get your 2 stocks from Webull. All you have to do is use my link, deposit $100, and we each get 2 stocks valued up to $1,600. It's literally that simple. And you guys could check out my Patreon if you want all my real-time buys, sells, and call-outs. All of those are linked right down below. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. And as you all can see here, based on the chart on SPY, which tracks the S&P 500, we pretty much consolidated today, right? We had some trouble breaking out of the $424, $425 level of resistance, which we did struggle at yesterday as well, and a couple of weeks ago in the end of May into the beginning of June. So what I'm personally seeing here is straight up consolidation, guys. You know, not every single day in the stock market is going to be stocks to the moon or stocks getting completely slammed. There's going to be days where we consolidate, we cool off, and that's pretty much what we did today, right? We closed above the 180 SMA and the 50 SMA here on the hourly chart, and it looks like we're about to see a golden cross on SPY, which means the 50 is going to cross above the 180 SMA. And by the looks of it, guys, the inverse head and shoulder is still intact here. We have the left shoulder, the head right here, the right shoulder, and let me zoom in a bit so you guys can get a better glance at that. Look at what I'm seeing. So if we do get that golden cross, whether it's tomorrow, the next day, maybe next week, we also break above 424, 425, hence why I do have my alert at 424.50. If these things happen, we could end up seeing all-time highs and a further breakout in SPY, which quite honestly is what seems to be setting up as of right now. And of course, things are subject to change. Anything could happen in the stock market, which is why we must always be prepared for everything. And I'm always prepared for the worst, to be honest, guys. You know, I don't think everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows and dandelions all the time. There is going to be a day where, you know, it's going to smack us in the face. You know, we're going to get blindsided, which is why, again, we always have to be prepared. And when it comes down to QQQ, which tracks the NASDAQ 100, a lot of the same as SPY. Pure consolidation. You know, we held the previous all-time high today, which was at 346. We held that as support at a higher low. We closed above it. We also closed above the 50 SMA. We're seeing a golden cross here on QQQ, which we're about to see, like I said, on SPY, at least here on the 20-day 1-hour chart. And, oh, look at that. I actually just realized this, guys. We hit an all-time high today on QQQ. We hit about $348.90. So that's a pretty good sign. And by the looks of it, I mean, we're breaking out of the moving averages. We have been. The ascending triangle's playing out. The bulls are completely in charge. And there's really not much more to say on this other than that. You know, we're just consolidating. We hit all-time highs. And the bulls are in charge. And when it comes to the precious metals, you know, gold went down 0.3%, silver down 0.7%. We had, you know, the VIX went down 2%, so volatility was a little down today. Fear was down, and if you guys didn't know, the VIX is the volatility index. So what do you guys think? Shoot me a comment down below. Again, today was a pretty boring day, nothing going on, but I'd love to know what you guys did, what your thoughts are on the markets, where you think we're headed moving forward here. And if you guys are enjoying the video and you do like the content in general, feel free to smash that like button, guys. Let's try and get 200 likes on this video. I challenge you guys. Can we get 200 likes? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Hit the like button. Let's see if we can do it. So let's get into some stocks now, starting off with number one, which is Snapchat, ticker symbol SNAP. And this is one that I've been super patient on. I've been calling it out here on the channel left and right over the past couple of weeks. And today, we finally broke out, up 5.4%, up over $3 per share. We closed at $66.35. And would you take a look at that? The ascending triangle that we've been calling out ended up playing out. We've been making higher lows ever since the beginning towards the middle of May, and we've been seeing a sticking point at about 65 ever since the beginning of June. So we've been squeezing deeper and deeper into the triangle, and either one of two things were to happen. Well, one of them was what ended up happening, breaking out, which means the ascending triangle would play out, or we would have dumped under the uptrend here. Let's say we dumped under the 50 SMA, and maybe we were to go to 60, 58, 59, and obviously, like I said, the first thing ended up happening. The ascending triangle played out, which is very good for the bulls. Now, Snapchat is at a level, no joke, guys, that it hasn't been at since February. Yes, you heard that right. I mean, Snapchat and a lot of these tech stocks haven't been doing much since January, February, and now we're pushing up towards that $70 level. And quite honestly, by the looks of it, the next big target on Snapchat is going to be $69-70, which was that high in the beginning of March. And if that were to break, which is the trend line that I just drew, I'm thinking Snapchat could end up filling the gap up to $73. Maybe it even breaks that all-time high at $73, which is about 11, actually no, more like 10%, 9% away from where we are right now. So be mindful of that with Snapchat, and it's actually up after hours even more. It's up to about $66.70, so it's up an additional 30-40 cents after market hours, which is a pretty solid sign here. So I'm loving it. I'm loving the chart here on Snapchat. And AMD Advanced Micro Devices is another chart that I'm liking. We broke out of the descending triangle pattern here that we saw and that was building over the past couple months, ever since the beginning of 2021 when we hit $100 per share pretty much. We've been making lower highs, but we did hold 73, 74 as support. Even in the end of 2020, guys, from October, we haven't broken under, $73. Well, we did go to $72.50, but overall, we held the lower to mid 70s. And now over the past couple of days, we've broken out of the resistance of the descending triangle, those lower highs. And now we're actually pushing up towards levels that we haven't been at since the middle towards the end of April in 2021. We obviously got a big pop on this day. This was on the 17th of June. We ran up about 6-7% in a single day. We got some profit taking 2 days after that, which was, not a surprise to me, quite honestly, considering how big of a move we saw 2 days prior to that. And look what happened yesterday and today, guys. We ended up holding the 50 moving average here at a higher low on the 4-hour chart, and we pretty much held that high point from the end of May all the way to the middle of June. We held it at a higher low, that resistance. So that's a good sign that we're holding that as support and we're looking to push higher. And we didn't really have a crazy day today. I mean, we literally went up a quarter, a little under a quarter, up 0.3%, so nothing crazy, although it was a green day nonetheless. But what I'm looking for here on AMD is for it to take out the highs from a couple of days ago at $85, $86, and from there for it to fill the gap to about $89, $90 per share. And if I were to bet my money on it, which literally, guys, I am, because I own this stock. I bought it in the $76 level. So if I were to bet my money and really make a guess, which pretty much I'm doing that because I'm in the stock, I would say this goes 85 to 90. Granted, if we get a stock market crash, that's not going to happen. But if the markets stay healthy, we continue coasting along, consolidating, I think AMD and a lot of the chip stocks for that matter, other than NVIDIA is a bit lofty right now. But I think AMD is going to do well. I think Micron is going to do well. This memory company, this is going to do well in my opinion, which if it breaks above the moving averages on the 4-hour chart, which it's been struggling at, in that case, it will do well. Intel's another one which is trying to reverse, although today it went down 1%. These are stocks that I'm interested in. AMD is the only one that I do own out of that bunch. And NVIDIA, I believe, look at that. All-time highs for NVIDIA. That split should be going through, I think, the next month I was reading. Let me double check that for you guys. Either way, the split will go through, 4-to-1 split. Oh, here it is. Perfect on the chart. Yep, there it is. 1 month from now on the 20th of July. That's when it's going to go through. So NVIDIA is going to be trading anywhere from $150, $200, $220, depending on where it is. So, NVIDIA, interested in that one post-split. We've seen with Apple, with Tesla, when they did their splits, guys, and let me show you all, and I know this is a little bit off topic, but then again, it's really not off topic because we're talking about stocks, guys, right? The stock market channel, this is what you all watch every day. You can see when NVIDIA, or rather Tesla, did their split, the stock sold off a bit. I mean, this went from 500 to about 330, and you guys can see that. This was about a year ago, August 2020. You guys can see 500 down to about 330. It lost 30%. So if NVIDIA were to lose 30, 20, 10, 15%, whatever it is, I might even consider maybe not buying shares, although that would be a good idea in my personal opinion. But I'd probably be leaning more to call options, some 2-3 year leaps. I think that would be a way to play NVIDIA. And of course, you guys on my Patreon, you get all my real-time buys, sells, my call outs every day. And I'm going to be letting you all know there what I'm going to be doing in real time. But again, NVIDIA, I'm going to be looking at calls most likely. And, look at Apple. Apple also went down after that split. Let me show you all the yearly chart. Or maybe I'm wrong. Or no, I'm not wrong, guys. There we go. This one up. $140. This was back in September. Split happened. Boom. All the way down to 104. Apple went to a bear market, down 25%. And from there, guys, we went up to 145. So in hindsight, which doesn't always work like this, obviously, but in hindsight, if you waited till the split with Apple and Tesla, and let's say you were to buy some calls, whether it's 6 months, a year, 18 months out, whatever, pretty much all of them did well. If you were to wait till after the split and you bought calls as the hype post-split died down. And I'm not telling you guys what to do. As always, I'm not a financial advisor, but that's kind of my plan here on NVIDIA. In my opinion, buying now would not be the smartest idea, although you could make money. Of course, you could always make money, and I'm not a genie, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But for me, I feel like waiting until August or September on NVIDIA might be the smarter thing to do. And who knows, I could be completely wrong, but from my experience, looking at Tesla and Apple, seeing how those played out, I feel like that could end up happening here with NVIDIA, and I'd love to know your thoughts down below in the comments on that. And let's bang out some other stocks. We had Applied Materials, AMAT, do pretty well today, up 1.5%. And this is also a textbook ascending triangle. We've been making higher lows ever since the middle of May, but we've been seeing a key resistance in the mid-140s since the beginning of April, right? So I'm thinking, look, we're going to break out potentially here. Nothing's guaranteed, of course, as always. But if we break out of the 50 SMA here on the 4-hour at about 135, 136, I'm thinking we fill the gap up to 145, which would be about a 5% gain. So I'm going to put an alert at $136 per share. And of course, if the ascending triangle plays out, what's going to happen, guys? Boom, we break 145, we see a nice squeeze out of there, and who the heck knows where it goes from there. But overall, that is what I'm seeing here on AMAT. And Skyworks Solutions, SWKS, this one is pretty interesting as well. This tanked after, the end of April. It was at 205. It went all the way down to 160, dropped about 20%, and it's still down roughly 20%. So this one's on the cusp of a bear market right now, guys. And I didn't look at their earnings. I'm not going to lie to you all. So I can't really comment on that. But I'm assuming it had something to do, this drop that is, had something to do with their earnings. Because look, after earnings came out, this thing collapsed and it downtrended for a couple of days after that. But since then, the past month and a half, Skyworks Solutions has been consolidating and slowly pushing up. And I'm really liking the way it held 160. That was support back in the beginning of March. And more importantly here, guys, it tells a better story. Look at this 3-year chart and the yearly chart. The yearly chart, you all can see we're holding the 180 SMA at a higher low here based on the previous lows. The uptrend looks like it's holding, and we're about to test that 50 moving average at 175. So if that were to break, guys, I'm telling you, Skyworks Solutions could be shooting back to 180, 185, 190, and the 3-year chart also shows a pretty interesting pattern as well. The uptrend is holding. We're holding the 50 SMA on the 3-year chart, and we're moving above the EMA slowly but surely. So the key price target here in the short term is 175 to 180. That's going to be a key zone to watch, in my opinion. If we break out of there, this stock could be a big mover. So watch out, Skyworks Solutions. Tesla, I know we talked about it a second ago, but we didn't really cover the technicals. Look at what happened today. Tesla went up over 5%. Very, very strong day. We broke out of the 50 and the 180 SMAs here on the 4-hour chart. Now we're finally seeing a golden cross, which hopefully, fingers crossed, guys, this leads to more upside on Tesla in the short term here. And by the looks of it, the descending triangle resistance is breaking out. So this means bulls are gaining momentum. They're finally gaining steam. And I couldn't be happier because I'm in Tesla as a swing trade and as a long-term investment here. And I think in the short term, Tesla goes 710, 715. That was the high point from back in the end of April, also throughout March into the beginning of April. So watch out for that gap up, the gap fill up towards 700, 710. But mind you, what's the word here, guys? Be mindful of the overbought status of Tesla right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a mini pullback in the short term, followed by a rally up. So keep an eye on that. Walgreens Boots Alliance, WBA, is another one I'm looking at. You know, this one's been crushing it over the past couple of months. And at this point, recently, it has taken a bit of a haircut, down about 7-8%. That's a pretty big drop, especially for a company like Walgreens. But overall, the uptrend's holding. You guys can see we're clearly in a wedge. And as of now, we did hold 50-51 at a higher low, and we're rebounding back above 52. So I want to see if Walgreens does fill the gap to the mid-50s. And one thing worth mentioning here, which makes kind of sense considering we've dropped recently, is the death cross, 50 SMA crossing under the 180 SMA, which is essentially the opposite of a golden cross. So that's one thing worth mentioning, but just because we're seeing that doesn't necessarily mean that Walgreens is going to tank. You know, we've seen golden crosses occur and the stocks drop after that, you know, and we've seen death crosses occur and the stock's gone up. So keep that in mind. You know, I feel like Walgreens could still do well in the short term, especially if it gets out of 55. You know, if it gets out of 55, look for that next leg up, probably to that high here at 57, maybe even higher from there. And the last stock for today, guys, is Mercado Libre, ticker symbol MELI. This ended up going up almost 2% on the day, up about $27 per share. And the past couple of days, guys, Mercado Libre has been breaking out of the downtrend. Not only the 50 SMA, but also the 180 SMA as of late, especially for the 180 SMA, guys, the past 2, 3, 4 trading days. So that's a good sign, in my opinion, that Mercado Libre is looking to, you know, fill the gap to about 1620, which was the high point from the end of April, beginning of April, also in the middle towards the end of March. So I really like this play in the short term, especially, guys, I'm telling you, if it breaks out of 1620, which was that high point that we just talked about, there's going to be a big leg up, whether it's to 1700 per share, whether it's 1820. These are levels that in the short term we could get to, and that gives it about 10, 15, 20% upside here, in my opinion. So overall, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. Remember, we're trying to get 200 likes on this video, so hit the like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and leave me a comment down below. What are your thoughts on this video, stocks, the market, what you're doing? I would always love to know, as always. And yeah, make sure to check out my Patreon as well if you want my real-time buys, sells, call outs, if you want a morning update video every day, which I'm doing for my top tier patrons. That's linked down below, or you guys can go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon, and you could also get 2 stocks from Webull valued up to $1,600 with a $100 deposit at stocksurfest.com/Webull, or that's also linked down below, whatever is easier for you guys. Make sure to get your $30 from M1 Finance as well, $10 from Coinbase. All of those are down below. I'll catch you all in the next video, which I made a video earlier talking about some stocks that still have extremely high short interest. So check those stocks out in that video. I'll pop it up here. I'll link that down below as well. I'll catch you all in that video. See you there. Thanks for tuning in again, as always. Keep crushing the markets. Peace out, guys.